Hey guys, it's Morgan coming back to you with another shop video. This one's going to be different, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be different. So I'm just going to bring you guys along as I work on my WR today. It is a Saturday at the shop. Zach and Leander are out. They actually don't work Saturdays anymore. They work Mondays. I don't work Monday. Anyway, it allows us to be open 6 days a week. And I really appreciate them for that. So, and they like it because they get Saturdays off. So they can do normal weekend things with their normal weekend friends. So, yeah, anyway, today I don't have a ton of work to do. Actually, most of that I'm waiting on Zach to do, and anyway, people aren't in a hurry. So, yeah, so I'm going to work on my bike today, the 2025 WR250F. If you're new here, go check out all the videos on it. It is a rad piece of machinery, and I love it to death. I'm just going to do a couple things. I'm doing some service work, oil change, things like that. I want to show you guys that I did this. I put a screw cap on instead of my dry brake. It's pretty cool. IMS offers this. You can just swap this out. Dry brake or this goes really fast. You just take this little cover off, unbolt it, dry brake in, screw top on. Anyway, I like it because for just trail riding, this is much easier to fill because the dry brake's kind of a pain in the butt. You got to push down, and anyway, if you know, you know. But I love the dry brake for racing, which is kind of what I built this bike for. The other thing I did is I put the kickstand back on again for trail riding. Since I'm not racing anytime real soon, my next big race is going to be the Lead Belt in Missouri in September for my birthday, my 50th birthday. I will be racing. So, yeah, that's why I put screw cap on, kickstand on. Kind of made it more of a trail bike, less of a race bike that way. Not that you can't race with all that stuff, but you know what I mean. I like to pose and act like I'm super fast. Let's be real honest here. I like having my bike look like a race bike when I want to. So anyway, there's a couple products I'm going to be trying out at this time while we do a big maintenance. So I'm going to start with an oil change, and actually that's the first product I want to show you guys. I'm going to try out because they're brand new. I just saw that they came out, but Motorex came out with oil change kits, even for Japanese bikes, even though Motorex is obviously kind of a KTM brand or whatever, even the orange on the 4T. But we're going with we're going to try it out and see if it actually kind of is what they say it is. And this is available on Rocky Mountain ATV MC. If you guys want to buy it there, you can use the link in the description to get there. It helps us out. It really makes a big difference to the channel. Every time you buy something there, I get a little cut. You get your same discount, same free shipping, same Rocky Mountain cash, all that good stuff, but you help the channel out too. And they are the biggest sponsor of the channel. They are amazing. I really like working with them. They give back to the sport so much, and they offer all kinds of things like Motorex, not just their brands. The other thing we're going to be trying today is a set of Tusk front brake pads. If you guys are Nissan brake owners, you know that probably your Nissans are very touchy, which is kind of nice, honestly, especially if you're tired and you just don't have the strength to pull the brake in a long race or something like that. It is touchy and it's like a lot of power. The problem is, as you get tired, you get a little hand-fisted and you give it a little too much brake, then you can tuck the front end or whatever. And I've noticed that this bike is very touchy, just like my Beta was very touchy. And I never did get the carbon pads onto the Beta to try that out, but I want to try it out on this. So we've got the stock Nissan pads in here. We're going to be switching out for the Tusk carbon pads. Let's get this thing back together. Show you a couple tips. I took it apart without showing the tip. Obviously, while you got them apart, clean them really good. Gonna take our pad. Actually, hang on. Before I do this, one thing. Okay. So our pin, we're gonna use some of this ridiculously sticky grease from Tyler Humphreys. He calls it gripper grease. I really like it because, man, you can wash a bike like crazy and this will not come off. It's crazy waterproof, crazy adhesive, super good. So grease that. I'm gonna set it down on top of this down here so it doesn't get dirty. Now what I'm gonna do is I am going to push, while this is apart, I'm going to push this, if I can, there we go, up, and get this up like that. And we're going to take the same gripper grease and we're going to put it on these pins, because these pins, they will get grimy and gross and whatever. And if this can't move, if you get a bend in your rotor at all, it will make it so the front brake doesn't work very well. But that allows this to move and allows you to kind of get away with a rotor that's not perfectly straight. So that's all greased. We're all happy. Now we're going to take our pads, not grease on them, slide them in here, and this will be, I guess, the moment of truth as to whether or not they actually fit. Yeah, everything fits. So now we'll grab our pin, come in here, take our Allen. We're going to run this in, and you can't really tighten this all the way because you got it in your hand and it wiggles. It's really hard unless you're super duper strong, Dwayne the Rock Johnson or whatever, and you can hang on to this tight. So I just go down to it snug. I'm going to slide this on. One bolt in. Same thing with this. You can't really tighten this down because it'll try to spin this thing. So I just go till it's just kind of snug, not even too bad, so you at least can move. Take our top bolt. Run this in, and I don't use thread locker. You can use thread locker. It's actually not a bad idea, but I just make sure I get them nice and tight. I've never had them come loose. I got them nice and tight. All right, so now, before we do anything, because we don't want to forget anything, I want to take our smaller Allen. Now that this is bolted up, we can go and really tighten that down. Take our cover, put it in. Actually, I'm going to take just a tiny bit of grease on this. And that'll act as an anti-seize. I could use anti-seize, but I gotta walk over there to get it. So grease works actually just fine enough for anti-seize. Ask any old farmer, rancher, auto mechanic. Trust me, grease works good. This is not a super critical part either. If this thing were to come out, big deal. It just would get dirty. So those pads look great. Looks like they're covering everything they need to cover. So I think those pads are going to work great. And the thing I like about carbon pads is that they require a lot more input from your finger to get as much brake power out of it. So what that does is allows you to be a little hand-fisted on the front brake, also modulate it even better. So if you're diving into a corner and you're on the brake, you can really dial in how much you want, right? And keeps it from wanting to knife and do that stuff. So super excited about that. Now let's bust open this oil change kit and take a look. All right. Real quick first, those brake pads are $13.99 from Rocky Mountain. So as far as I'm concerned, they're worth giving a shot, and I think they're worth you giving a shot if you're having trouble. If you love your brakes, then please don't change. If you like the way your brakes are working regardless of brand or style, whatever, just run them. don't just change them to change them. I have noticed that I feel like this bike's front brakes and my Beta's front brakes, the Nissan brakes, are just too touchy. So, and a lot of people have, if you'll trust me. You guys out there know what I'm talking about. Super touchy front brakes. I'm looking to change that, and I'm looking to change it in the least expensive way possible. So $13.99, worth a shot. And if I hate them, I can take them right back off and put those other ones on, or I can get a pair of DPs or whatever. So yeah, $13.99. And then this oil change kit, guys, is $27.50. Actually, I looked. I don't think Rocky Mountain is carrying these, but I carry these, and I can drop ship one to you. So Rocky Mountain will, I'm sure, eventually get them, but they don't have them yet. But Western Power Sports does, and so I've got them here I just have two of them for this bike to kind of try them out. But I can get one to you if you want to have me drop ship some stuff to you or whatever. I can do that. So anyway, let's check it out. It's pretty cool. It comes with everything you need for an oil change. 0.75 liters. It's actually nice. It comes with the right amount of oil. You don't have to measure anything for an oil change, right? Not for disassembling the motor or whatever, for just an oil change. So 0.75 liters, which, yes, I was wrong when I did the first service on this thing. I think I put a full liter in, which actually didn't hurt anything. There's a little bit too much oil, but yeah, 0.75 is the right amount. An oil filter and gasket. So let's open it up and take a look. It's pretty cool. Tiny little bottle. Not all the way full. So look at that. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's just got the right amount. It's got oil filter. Twin air oil filter, so I'm sure it's good. I normally use high flows, but or actually I've been using the Tusk recently, but that looks good. My guess is they kind of all come from the same factory. And then it's got a crush washer. Yeah, because there is a gasket on this, but I don't think they normally replace it. So all right, let's drain some oil and check it out. Honestly, this crush washer is fine, so I'm going to go ahead and save it for whatever and put the new one on, but you can really, honestly, reuse these a lot of times. All right, while that's draining, let's pop the oil filter off. That's the Tusk filter. Twin air, looks good. Put this drain bolt back in and let's see if this is the right amount of oil. All right, guys, let's see if this is going to be enough oil. We've got the bike upright, pretty well straight up and down, level this way. Got that. We got our oil, top speed. And yes, by the way, if you guys have been paying attention, I've been using Bel-Ray EXL, which is the just mineral oil from Bel-Ray, which I really, really like. It's really, really good. But I'm just going to try this out. We do not need to have the oil debate here. I've already got a video making fun of all that and going off. And anyway, it's a lot of fun. If you haven't watched that, make sure you check that out. All the Rotella guys hate me. But you guys should know, really, it's a joke more than anything. So, but we'll try this top speed. Maybe it'll make the clutch do different. I don't know. The clutch, everything works on this bike so good because it's a Yamaha and it just works. That's all there is to it. So, let's see. It says it's 0.75 of a liter. Let's pour it in here and we're going to see if it fills up to the right amount down there. And while we're doing this, guys, I know $27.50 for an oil change is actually pretty expensive. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's for just oil and a filter. That's kind of a lot of money. There's definitely no doubt about that. And so I can understand if that is just way too much money. But if you are a person who likes to run high-end four-stroke oil, then actually it's not that bad because normally you have to buy a whole liter of this, which is $20-something, and then an oil filter plus a crush washer. It ends up being about the same. It's not a huge savings of any kind, but it's not bad. So let's see though. I think I'm correct. There's not enough oil in there, so this may end up actually being not a great deal. So, and there's definitely enough oil that it's not going to blow up. Let's fire the thing up, let it warm up a little bit, and then see if the oil level comes to where it needs to be. freaking love this motorcycle. It just starts and runs. It's so good. Oh, actually, there might have been enough oil. It might have been so clean, because now it looks way different. It's clear. It's below now, right? Because it sucks it. Actually, it might have been okay. So let's see. So when you're checking things, guys, and you're doing this, just a quick note that you really want to make sure you let the motor get all the way warm. And if you're worried about the amount of oil, you don't want to sit there and rev it. Now, I poured 0.75 of a liter in there. I know there's enough oil for this thing to not like seize if it's idling. Whether or not it's the right amount, like the right level, that remains to be seen. Here, we'll find out here in a second. You want it to be warm, because what's going on is that oil pump is sucking that oil up out of the sump, pumping it through the whole motor, whatever, and you want it to get nice and warm so when you kill it, it all settles quickly to where it needs to be, because the level on these things is once the bike is warm and then shut off. So you want to make sure you get it all the way warm, because if you leave it cold, it'll suck it all up and it'll take a really long time for it to drain down. It will end up showing you the correct level, or the level that it's at eventually, but you've got to get it there, right? So, but it takes a little while if the oil's still cold. So I like to let it run, pump it through the motor, get it nice and warm, and then we'll shut it off here in a second and check. All right, that ought to be enough. Now let it go. You can see, haha, it's actually just, look at that, it's perfect. Hang on, I gotta answer this phone. I was wrong. Highland Cycles, this is Morgan. Hey, how's it going? All right, guys, I was wrong. Oil level is, perfect. I was dead wrong. That's awesome. That was cool. I actually, yeah, I like that. It's really cool if you're traveling. Maybe you got a camper and you're doing a big trip, and you know you're going to have to service the bike. Buy a couple of these things, have them in there ready to go for your bikes, and they have them for each bike, and they tell you what they're for and all that stuff. It's really, really, actually, it's a super neat idea. It's not some crazy money saver or deal like that. And I know a lot of guys watching this these videos are trying to save money, because that's why you're watching them, trying to learn how to do stuff yourself, which is awesome. That's why we do them. So yeah, that's not a massive money saver, except that you don't have to buy extra oil and then deal with all these bottles of oil. You can see right up there a whole bunch of 4T bottles from people that didn't take their extra that when I do a service, and so they're paying for me to have oil on the shelf, really, because they don't want to keep it. So yeah, anyway, pretty sweet. Bike's ready to rock and roll, guys. I'm going to be riding it here this weekend. Going to have fun. I'm going to be testing out those brake pads. Excited about that. So make sure you subscribe, stay tuned, all that good stuff. Make sure you share this channel with all your friends and get this thing blown up. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers. I want to get there fast. I want to do something big, 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 big with this channel. So I love you. We'll see you on the next one.